Just look at your phone.
Got you. Yep.
Cool.
All right, we're live and rolling. Another Hoya locker room, a beautiful Sunday morning.
Yes, it is.
From Los Angeles, California. A show that's an episode that's near and dear to my heart. Hoya Locker Room, episode 74. It's about the Jabbo Kenner League.
Yes,
The longest running, most competitive summer tournament in DC, or one of the most competitive. I want to touch on that a little bit. We have Mr. Van Johnson Jr. in the building. Welcome, sir. Thank you for coming through. We really appreciate it. I'm going to give my co-host a moment to say a few words, and then I'm going to jump into your little bio. Your extensive bio, I should say. It's an extensive bio. And then we're going to jump into the show. What's up, Markham? How you doing, Markham?
All I have to say is thank you, Van, for coming on. We appreciate it. And we're going to get right into it because you might have something to do real quick with the Kenner League today. Who knows?
Who knows? So I'm going to do the start again, Markham, because I wasn't recording. My bad. My bad. Welcome to Hoya Locker Room, episode 74. It's on the Jabbo Kenner League. We have a Mr. Van Johnson here. Van Johnson is the league, Van Johnson Jr. He's the league director, and he's also in charge of events coordinator. He's the events coordinator. Van is pretty extensive background. His professional background is in scouting. Also, he's done elite level events. He also ran the inaugural high school selection. He was part of the inaugural high school camp for the NBA.
Oh wow, y'all went that big.
And that was Kobe, rest in peace. That was Lamar Odom,
Tim Thomas.
So that was quite the crew. So your background precedes you, but you're here today to talk about the Kenner League.
Yes.
And with that, I'm gonna let my host in, Mr. Stansbury. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. All I want to say is thank you to Mr. Johnson Jr.
Please call me Van, man.
Oh, man.
No. What I want to say is I'm very appreciative of the fact that Gene caught himself because at first he called you Van Johnson, and I didn't appreciate that because I'm Markham Stansbury Jr. and I know as juniors we want that junior on there. We don't want to leave that off.
No question. You're right. You're right about that. That's cool. You're right.
So the pleasantries are out the way. Let's get down and dirty.
Let's get down and dirty.
I had I was fortunate enough to play in the inaugural Kenner League season, if I'm not mistaken. So I have a fondness for it, I have a love for it. Before that, I played in the Urban Coalition.
Correct.
Before that, it was Melvin's Crab House tournament out in the Southeast at H.D. Woodson.
H.D. Woodson, yep.
Which is near and dear to my heart. So summer leagues are essential. So I guess I want to start with, how did you get connected with the Kenner? You've been there since 2017.
2000. Boy, since John Thompson III took over, he hired me and Eddie.
So is that 2000? That's like 2007.
18 years, like 18 years ago. Yes.
18 years. I stand corrected. So you've obviously put in some work. How did that relationship begin? Because the Georgetown family we're tight knit. We don't just let anybody in.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
So explain to us how that merger happened.
How that happened. Okay, it happened pretty much with Coach Ed Myers. And you first from the kid, and he told me to tell you hello. And says he told you to tell me no cheap fouls. So tell him no cheap fouls. He said he gonna know what that means when you say that. I said,
that's the only fouls I know.
So I talked to him this morning pretty much, but it started with Ed Myers and John, and plus our relationship with John Thompson III. John, once John was hired, John wanted to do his own thing. He wanted to clean house pretty much, and in the previous regime with running Kenner League, he wanted to start it fresh. So he asked Eddie and I to run it pretty much. And it started from there pretty much, and one thing led to another. Eddie might have ran it together for almost, I say, probably 4 or 5 years. Then after that, I just been running it by myself ever since then, pretty much. But that's how I started, because like you said, it's connection. Because Eddie Myers was assistant coach at Georgetown, There's got to be some familiarity with all of you. You know how it goes. They got to know you, be able to trust you with their brand, pretty much.
Let me ask you this, Van. Given what you just said about, how you got to be trusted, got to be known, what would you say have been your biggest challenges in running the Kenner League?
Biggest challenges, I would say, is I would say pretty much trying to maintain.
Hey, Van, you don't have to worry. We got a very small audience.
Right. I doubt that very seriously. I would say sometimes just dealing with the stuff behind the scenes. I mean, mostly security. I mean, because up here, the crowd up here is not. This is a very relaxing crowd, pretty much, and it comes up. But I mean, sometimes the security can get a little overbearing. I would say it's not needed, but it is needed, but not to the extent that Georgetown thinks it's needed, pretty much. But I get it. I understand for safety purposes, pretty much. But other than that, getting the players to come up here, that's solid. I mean, they got, as long as they sign their waivers and their permission slip. Always remember, D1 kids got to sign permission slips to be able to play. But pros, they can just sign a waiver and they can boogie out. They can rock out, play as many games they like, pretty much. But I say the main thing is that I would say security, pretty much. Just trying to get a hold of the security, pretty much.
So you said permission slip versus a waiver. Explain the difference of that.
Okay, for Division Ones, by it being a certified event, it's a certified event. So that means D1 can play in Kenner League, and you need a permission slip. You need a sign from an AD, from the head coach, or somebody from their sports administration to approve them to play in the league, pretty much. Because you're only allowed to play in one summer league for a Division I college player. You only play in one. And if you play in more than one, you probably didn't pay no mind to. Sometimes you see a kid when the game starts, when college season starts, you might see kid say he's ineligible for the first 5 games because he might have played in the illegal summer league and he played 5 games, and they docked him the 5 games he played in that illegal summer league.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So
you probably
you said legal summer league, so I'm just making it up. We got the Kenner League and we got Gene Smith's league.
Right.
If you play in the Kenner League, you can't play in Gene Smith's league.
Correct.
And if you play in the Kenner League and then you go and play 5 games in Gene Smith's league, you're getting docked 5 games in your college season.
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure you probably heard that. And sometimes you say, well, kid is ineligible for administrative reasons. That's probably what it's for, pretty much. The vast majority of the time, that's what it's for, pretty much. They ain't probably played in the legal summer league. You're only allowed to play in one summer league if you're a Division I player.
And Van, it's always been like that? It's always been like that?
But they just started it. But they just started because they just started that, Gene, I would say probably about 8-9 years ago. Because basically, it might have started here at the Kenner League because remember the Toombs team had the whole Georgetown freshman class. And seeing now you only allow 2 players per team. You can't,
it doesn't run like that anymore.
No, sir. No, sir. You only allow 2 players from your team. So Georgetown has let's say Georgetown has a 6-player incoming freshman class. Back in the day, that whole 6-player freshman class would play on the Toombs. But now I get with Ronnie and the coaching staff and I get them a list of the teams that are gonna play in the Kenner League. I get them all their contact information and they call those teams and say, okay, can these 2 guys play on that team, this team, that team, and that team? So they got to split it all up now. Everybody got to be split up now. You can't have all one freshman team or all Georgetown players on one team anymore.
And that's the NCAA again.
Yes, it is.
Man.
Because back in the day, Gene, you had Smith and Lithograph. That was all the Maryland players. You had Blackguards. That was AU players. So you had different sponsors that had their universities and all their players played on those teams, pretty much. Like right now, we have higher level. They sponsored by George Mason. So George Mason players play for them. So it still continues. We only have 2 players, pretty much.
Mark, I want goals. I want to set a goal. We're gonna have a Hoya locker room team in the Kenner League. That's a goal. I don't know when it's gonna happen. That's a goal, Markham. That's a goal.
I like that.
I want to touch on the security issue because I've been to a few Kenner League games, and I don't know if security is really a problem because it's usually a lot of space, but I do want to. I want to reference a date and time that runs contrary to that.
Okay.
August 4th, 1994. Kenner League, does that date?
Be Allen Iverson.
So that was a security issue.
Yes, it was. And you know what? When I saw it, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. When I just came in, I'm in McDonough gym right now. So when I came in, I had a printout. I'm like, damn, what happened on August 4th? I'm like, you know what? That had to be Allen Iverson. I just read it. I'm like, I had to be Allen Iverson.
Yes, because the Kenner League has always been an acquired taste. He took it to another level. He took it to another level.
Did. Yep, and then it went on from there. It went to another level.
So the likelihood of us, when I say us, the likelihood of Kenner League ever running a squad against Goodman or ever running a squad against Watts, is that could that ever happen?
You know what, Kirk and I
is that against the rules or?
Oh no, it's not against the rules. The only thing what happened with I would say prevent that, Gene, is college kids couldn't play it. But that's the only thing. But Kirk Smith and I, who runs the Watts League, we talked 2 weeks ago about doing something like that pretty much. But I'm going to Vegas next week for a high school elite event. So I'm not gonna be back here. I'm not gonna come back for another 10 days. Okay. We had talked about that. So I was saying next year we do a better planning. We can try to do it next year for sure.
Well, why wouldn't college kids be able to play if there was
because again, that's an all-star game. You got to charge. You can't charge for if you can't charge at the gate for Division I college players. So
what if you didn't charge? You made it free to the public. You had a sponsor overriding the whole thing, and you ran it
that
down.
That could happen. That could happen.
I'm just putting it out there because
Yeah, but talking to Kirk and everybody, I talked to the guys from New York. They all want to make some paper.
That's cool. No. Did you hear me? A brand could override it.
Right,
because
exactly.
Markham's heard me go on my soapbox before. The brands have kind of taken their foot off the pedal in terms of community stuff.
Yes,
in terms of outreach. Yes. They're only sponsoring limited guys, and it's KD, LeBron, or Kyrie for Nike, and then Kawhi for New Balance. But the point I'm making is this is a way to get back to a community that you've eaten off of decade after decade after decade. So let's you and I connect offline.
Oh, for sure.
We can build.
It's funny you said that, Jim, because this past Friday, we did a little community service camp at the Kennedy Boys.
I saw that. Yes, I was going to ask you about that.
And then we and it was pretty very enlightening because right now Kennedy around that area of 7th and O Street, it's a war zone right now. I mean, seriously, people are getting shot in broad daylight around it now, and they hear some of the kids' stories, and then we stood up and I told my story, and they was like, "Where you come from?" I says, "I come from Northeast Trinidad in Washington D.C." And one of the guys was like, "You came from where?" And I said, "From Northeast Trinidad." And a couple of older guys like Greg Jones was there. Greg was there. Greg was like, he come from Northeast Trinidad, guys. That's probably one of the roughest neighborhoods ever to come out of.
Yes, sir.
I said in that neighborhood, I said I knew all the killers, but back then it was a code. I played sports. They knew I was going to school. They was like, they knew. And I said, and the funny part is, the wild part is, the dudes that was doing all the killing, I used to walk home from school and get a quarter and get $1 from. So as they getting older, they get in the game, in that drug game, they see me, they know it, man, y'all don't bother him. He's doing something different.
Got the pass.
Yeah, you guys, we coming from the gym, I said, now you guys, y'all try to attack the kids that's trying to do well. Back then, they didn't come after us. They didn't know we wasn't trying for it. That wasn't our action pretty much. So they protected us. They would give us a few dollars. I said, but it's all about choices. I said, now, one of my best friends was notorious. He was most wanted in DC. We were the same age. He went right, I went left. But me and him still respected each other. Wherever I was, if I was somewhere I need to be, hey, Lil Van, you need to go, man, because somebody go down. I can't protect you and me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and he just did 35 years. He just got out. I mean, but now he's just totally, he's different now. Of course, he's reformed now, but it's the point of, I was trying to tell the kids, you ain't got to be from a bad place and be a bad person. You still can, I said, you still look at me. I said, who would throw the kid from Northeast Trinidad? I lived in Northeast. I went to school uptown at Theodore Roosevelt. That don't, back then that was drug.
Rough Riders.
I mean, that was gang
Roosevelt.
Again, I had family uptown, so there was so I was always somebody was always around me and always gonna get my hands on somebody. If somebody was, it was always protected pretty much. So it was just all about how you encourage yourself. And they always knew I wasn't about that life, so it was all about but I had a lot of uncles and cousins who taught me how to fight, who taught me how to shoot a gun and how to use a knife. I had an uncle in Green Beret and an uncle in Navy SEAL, so they all taught me.
Hey, Markham, I understand now how he got connected to Georgetown. I understand now.
Yeah. So my life is as I've had a great time. Basketball took me a lot of great places, man. All over the country. Nike, scouting for Nike. I traveled all around the world, Bahamas, Germany, you name it. I've been there for scouting purposes, and I'm grateful and blessed.
Well, let me tell you something. You mentioned all these places you've been to. One of the things I'm an expert in because of my experience at Georgetown is packing bags. So next time you're getting on one of these trips, you need some help packing your bags, somebody to carry them for you. You need to tell the people when you're doing your deal, Markham Stansberry Jr. is coming with me. Are the juniors gonna stick together? Can I get a buy-in?
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. I got a call from a gentleman from a pro team in Spain. They wanted me to do some EuroLeague scouting, and they wanted me to go to Argentina in October of this year. And I told them I would let them know if I can go in that. And my wife overheard me. She was like, "What you mean you going to talk about it? We going?" I'm like, "Hey, I gotta make sure. I have to make sure some things gotta be in order pretty much. Over there it can be real tricky over there sometimes. It can be real tricky, but I'll let you know for sure."
I want to shift. Go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So one of the things you were just talking about, you didn't really go into it, but you touched on Nike and the Kenner League. Like, could you talk a little bit more about the connection with the Kenner League, the Hoyas, and Georgetown? What that means, how the strength of it, how it's changed over the years.
The strength of it has changed basically now. It's changed a lot. It's basically now called the Pro City, Nike Pro City Jabbo Kenner League, pretty much. That's one of the changes. And without Coach Thompson Jr., it probably wouldn't have lasted this long, I'll be honest. And that's the one thing, because he adapted to it. He used to come to the games, God rest his soul. He would come to the games faithfully the last 5 or 6 years. He would sit in his chair and enjoy the games, bark at people, do what he do. You know that, Gene, how he carry it pretty much.
Yeah, when you say come to the games, he didn't come to the games as a fan, though.
No, he did not. You're right. He did not.
And Van, just so you clear, you said, Gene, you know how it is. I was a manager for the basketball team for 4 years.
I'm sorry. So you know that.
Yeah.
Van, for the record, he was manager of the year 3 years in a row. Just for the record.
Okay, so that means you part of the clique then. You part of the clique,
I'm very well versed in being called a motherfucker.
Okay, there you go. I was called a motherfucker many a day. Little motherfucker. You little motherfucker.
Oh, you got it too?
Oh gosh, yes. Yeah. Oh yes. A couple times. Yes. Yes, I got it a couple times. Yes. Yes, I did. I got it a couple times. But again, Gene would know this. Gene respect this. See, I come from the tree of Will Jones, Doc Robinson, and Ed Myers. So Gene knows that's all I got called was motherfucker. So that's, when I played for them three, that's, you know what it was. You know what, my name wasn't Van, it was motherfucker. Don't turn the ball over, motherfucker. So you know what that was pretty much. So yeah, that's what Nike's done a great job. They provide all the uniforms for us. They give us all the banners, they dress everything up looking pretty much. That's on and for today, the championship team, they haven't come yet, but the championship team, they get backpacks, they get hats, they get hoodies, they get t-shirts, they get the whole lineup pretty much with Pro City logo all on the gear of all the champions pretty much. So they do a great job in Nike New York. Does a great job in making sure our community is taken care of very well, for sure.
It's good. Next step, we're gonna work on championship rings, like the NBA Summer League.
Oh wow, that they would love that here. I tell you, one year Nike gave the championship team and the runner-up team $250 gift cards, and you thought that was like candy. When they stopped doing that, they're like, "What the gift cards?" Said, man, I'm like, man, y'all got hoodies and bags and t-shirts. We want the gift cards because they took the gift cards and go to the Nike store and just rack up pretty much. So
Hey, Markham, we didn't get gift cards. We didn't get a T-shirt.
Oh my gosh.
We got a workout, and that's all we needed was a workout.
Nothing.
You're right. So back then, y'all like playing basketball. Right now, Gene, it's hard getting these dudes to play basketball now. They don't like hooping. I mean, I go back to when Kevin played here. When Kevin was hooping, Kevin would come down here, and he was probably his third or fourth year in the league. He would play like 3 straight games, just hooping. He didn't care. He just hoop. These kids now, you got to call them. Oh, okay, I got somebody to watch my dog. Any excuse not to play. I mean, so it's just
so do you think that has something to do with the game, the individual aspect? Everybody has individual coaching. Everybody has individual training.
Yes, I tell it when I'm scouting. I tell a lot of guards and kids. I said, man, you know what? Cones don't hit back. You got to boogie sometimes. I mean, I played outside. We rode our bikes to different courts. Kennery Parkside, Trinidad, Weekly. I mean, Turkey Thicket. But they don't do that no more, guys. They don't do that no more. Everybody got a workout guy, and they just everybody's mechanical. Everybody plays the game so mechanical now, and that's what I see that now. And the one little bump, it knocks them off their stride. No, man, you got to play through that. You got to play downhill. You got to be more physical. But they don't understand that part of it. They always say I'm hard as evaluating. But I go back with you guys. 2 quick stories. I mean, I was like. My first basketball game I saw, I was 10 years old, and that was the Dunbar 1976 team. And watching that was my first game going to the Cofield House.
That was a team. Is that Stacey Robb?
No, that's the Bebe and Craig Shelton and Bo Holston and Kenny and all them dudes. And Kenny Matthews and all them. That's I was 10 years old watching that game.
Kenny Matthews. Purest jump shot.
I tell everybody, the best shooter, no question about it. I mean, and seeing that at 10 years old, I'm like, I was hooked. And I was playing, but like I said, and my cousin, he only reason why I went because my cousin wanted to use my dad's car. The only reason to use my car, use the car was he take me. So I had to tag along. So I'm like, cool. So I had to I went to all the games when I was a little boy. So I saw all these real hoopers. So I'm watching them, watching JoJo, and I know JoJo now. I mean, and just seeing it now, and I said, you all couldn't play against some guys. They couldn't play against Eugene. To be honest.
So you bringing back all kind of DC vibes. So if you could compare the Kenner, the Watts, and the Goodman, can the same player play in all 3? I'm just talking about type players. Obviously, we know that it wouldn't be eligible.
Hold on.
Go ahead, Mark.
Before he answers that, I just want to clear something up. You mentioned Kevin playing, and shout out to Kevin Braswell, who quite possibly is the prettiest point guard in the history of Georgetown basketball.
From B-More.
I just want everybody to know you weren't talking about Kevin Braswell. You're talking about Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant.
You clarified that, Mark.
I mean, but I would say, Gene, back in the day, you go back, we talking about Kirk Smith, Steve Francis, Allen Iverson. Man, I mean, it was some killers. It was some gangsters. Greg Jones. They can play in any level, any league in this area, hands down. No questions asked, no problems whatsoever. I mean, Clarence Bootney Green, them guys can play in any league. It don't matter. Because they was hoopers, they were players.
So Van, you mentioned all these guys. I'm curious, in your time doing the Kenner League, what has been, let's say, your favorite game? Favorite game and favorite player that you've seen under your leadership of the league.
I would say my favorite. It might have been yesterday because it was yesterday was a great game. Yesterday was Najee Marsh, who played for the Pelicans, New Orleans Pelicans from Eleanor Roosevelt. The game was tied, and it was like 8 seconds left on the clock, and he went down the lane and he took the ball coast to coast. And I don't know how he made a pass to the far end corner to Brian Crawford, who's a EuroLeague professional, EuroLeague star. Hit a 3 at the buzzer, and the crowd went crazy last night. Yesterday that was a very good game. But I would say players, watching Victor Oladipo transform into the lottery pick that he ended up being. You saw the transformation going into his, what was that? Was that 2012? Might have been. He was a sophomore going into his sophomore year, and Victor and I talked, and I asked him what was his plans, what he wanted to do. He just said, Mr. Van, I'm going to the league. I'm like, what? And I'm like, again, everybody know Victor. He was a power forward at the math. He had no guard skills. He was just a power forward. He was a go hard dude, defending anybody. And just to watch him transform into a guard, a two guard.
Kind of like Mark Tillman at Gonzaga, 6'2" power forward.
Yeah, in high school. Yeah, you're right. But saying that, but then before the game, me and him talked. Remember, I used to be, because I was the Nike Elite Youth Scout, so I was in charge of the whole East Coast of scouting for Nike. So I had all relations with all the players pretty much. But that game, he played Saturday and Sunday, guys. He averaged 45 points a game. He did everything a league guard's supposed to do. And I was like, wow, you are transforming yourself into a ball player. And that following year, he was the second pick of the draft.
So Ben, let me ask you this as it relates to Hoyas. Has there been a Hoya that you saw in the Kenner and you saw similar transformations once the season starts? Because I'm hearing some rumblings on Primo, B. Murray, and then the big kid.
You gotta say Brad.
Bradley. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So are we to expect some type of something new, something that we don't know about?
And you know what? I think seeing Bradley, he is a powerful 6'7" power forward. I mean, when he dunks the ball, guys, the rim shakes. And to the point when you listen to some of the Coach Thompson story about the Dikembe, when he was dunking on the rims, so if you turn my rims down, I'm sending you back. That's where the rim rocks.
Markham knows about those stories.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like that's when Bradley gets the ball in the paint, it's like the Red Sea. It just parts. Everybody like, get out his way. He's coming, and he is high above the rim, throwing it down, two-hand flushing it, and just high. He's just throwing with power and force. He's a kid to watch for. But you know what? It's a kid. It's not. You probably the kid named, Lord forgive me. His last name is Mozone. He went to Upstate. He's a grad transfer, but he is a lethal scorer. He can score the ball. He played for Bebe's team. Bebe had a team in the Kenner League, and Mozone was just lightning, quick trigger, jump shot, 6'4", great size. So that team is going to be very interesting. He got some pieces. He got 13 guys that he got to find a way to mesh. He got Jay Heath. You haven't mentioned Jay Heath. Jay Heath has played well in Kenner League also. So he got a lot of guards that play downhill and put the ball in the basket.
My man has been telling me about Jay Heath. He's been telling me about Jay Heath.
Yeah,
he's a DC kid, right?
Yep, DC kid from Woodrow Wilson High School. Now they changed to Jackson Evans now. It's Jackson High School now, but when he went, it was Woodrow Wilson High School.
Okay.
Yeah, but Jay Heath's a powerful guard. Primo is a powerful guard. Then you got Brandon Murray from LSU. So they're all these guys around the same 6'2", 6'4", and they all can get a bucket. So you
know I'm a defensive guy. So what about that D?
Well, you know what I just said. They all can get a bucket. So that was my next statement. What I haven't seen is that one point guard that's gonna be able to facilitate and put everybody in their right places and defend the ball at the point of attack, which the point guard has to do. I haven't seen that yet. That's what I haven't seen yet. I don't know who's gonna be that point guard to be the point person in their pressure man-to-man defense and make them click. That's what I haven't seen yet. But I'm pretty sure it might be there. I'm pretty sure they're gonna figure it out pretty much for sure. I'm pretty sure Coach Ewing gonna figure it out. That's what
I'm glad you mentioned Bebe during coaching the team in the Kenner League.
And he's not coaching it. Stacy coaching it. Bebe was one of the sponsors, but Stacy Robinson was coaching the team.
Oh, Stacy coached. Okay.
Well, Stacy coached the team. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. Bebe was one of the sponsors. Helped get it together, and Stacy Robinson coached the team.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Because I was going to ask you if he was able to make in-game adjustments on the fly as a coach. But
Stacy was trying. Stacy was trying. Stacy was really trying to be a coach. I was proud of him. He was really trying to be a coach. He was like, these kids don't get it. I said, Stacy, they don't know how good you was. I never saw you play, but I heard how excited you was. I mean, they don't understand this game, Stacey. They think it's all about them now. Everything is individuality now. And I do a couple of podcasts, and they ask, why don't the kids in our area stay? Why don't the kids go to Georgetown and Maryland? A lot of our kids, man, they want to get away from the handlers, from the workout guys, from their parents. They want to go out. They want to go out of town. They want to go. I mean, it's nothing against Georgetown and Maryland. They just want to go out of town, experience a different part of the world sometimes.
I'm glad you said that, man. I'm glad you said that.
Because it's not like it's not like Georgetown and Maryland not doing their jobs. But a lot of these kids, man, they don't want to be home, Gene and Malcolm. They don't want to be home. They want to go out and experience life without being watched over, pretty much. But I think the media and the social media, they give Georgetown and Maryland a hard grab, man. But it's a hard sell, man. It's a hard sell. There's a lot of ball players in this country.
So Van, if you were talking to a kid about Georgetown, Maryland, Howard, any of the local schools, how would you, especially given everything that's going on in the city, our major cities across the country, what would be your challenge? What would be your how would you chop it up with them to get them to stay home? Like,
I would chop it up pretty much the way of, you're from this area, you can develop your own brand now. Now with the NIL, you have your own brand now. And it's a lot of things you can sell yourself pretty much. Because our area, Gene, if you're from this area, they're going to take care of you and protect you.
Hustlers, got to have the hustlers mentality. That's what NIL is. Who hustles the hardest?
Exactly. And that's what I said, you come, I mean, it's easier. Like, he was a kid. I mean, I wanted him to stay here. His name is Rowan Brambour. Remember that name? Rowan Brambour. He's a Caucasian kid. He's from 16th Street. And he's 6'4", white boy, can flat out play. He's going to Texas. And I want him to come to Georgetown so bad. He could walk to Georgetown. He's gonna be a freshman. And I wanted him to come here so bad. And he went to Texas. But I tell you what, he's Steve Blake with athleticism. Long rangy. And I tell you what, he was the only white kid. He was 5'5". He went to St. Albans High School.
St. Albans. Eddie Saw. Is that Eddie Saw?
That's he just passed away. That was Bob. What was Bob's last name? Eddie Saw from Wilson.
Wilson. That's right.
Eddie Saw from Wilson.
Also, a director of the Kenner League.
He was the very first one. Yep, the very first commissioner. Yep, the very first one. And I wish a guy like that. I wish he would have stayed here in DC. Made a whole lot of money. But
we talking Texas. That's a whole lot.
No, exactly. But again, he had committed to who did he commit to at first? Because he decommitted. And I'm like, and Maryland and Georgetown got back involved, but I guess I don't know what happened, but he ended up going to Texas. But you're right, Texas got a lot of money. But for that kid, he was the only, I would go up to Upshur Playground. He would be the only white kid hooping. And when I knew he could play was because he could pass the ball extremely well, but his team would lose, Gene. You know how it was. When you lose, you don't get another spot. He would get picked. He would get picked right away. Because he passed the ball. He was flashy. He got flair. He got swag. He think he black, to be honest. but that's one of the kids I wish would have stayed around here. And I tried my damnedest. But he picked Texas.
Well, when I reached out, I hit Mark. I'm like, I want to celebrate the Kenner League. I want to get you on. I didn't know if you would be available because, my people told me you like to work. And you're an introvert. And
yes, I am.
It was borderline, Gene, he's not weird, but he's just about his business. Right. So I was like, I got to reach out.
I love doing stuff like this, man. I love doing stuff like this.
We really want to celebrate you. We know you got a championship game today.
No, it's at 3 o'clock. We good.
Okay, we're good. I don't want to hold you up.
At 3 o'clock. That's why I came here. I came here to do it. I come here early to do it, so I ain't got to be rushing. I can chill.
We want to let you know. We have a good time. Let you know we appreciate you, man.
I enjoy being here. I think it's really be a part of it, for sure.
And I want to make sure you and I chopped up a little bit more about some ideas I have to help you out on this end.
Oh, for sure, no doubt. Let me know. You have my number. Call me, and we can rap. And matter of fact, I'll be in Vegas next week.
Well, I hit you with my text, and you kept sending me to the email. I'm like, I guess you don't want me to have his number.
No, I'm sorry. No, did I email you with my
Van? That's a good move. That's a good move.
No, you know what? Say it again, man.
See,
Don't,
no disrespect.
hey, Van,
No
keep it
disrespect.
email. Don't give him your digits. He'll be calling you at 2 in the morning.
No, that's cool.
You're
No,
like, man, I'm trying to
tell you what,
sleep.
I tell you a story. Listen,
Van, I won't call you. I'll text you. I won't call you.
no, you good. I tell you what, I talk to Boo Williams every night around 12:30, 1 o'clock, so I wouldn't be alarmed at all. I mean, 'cause Boo Williams and I talk every night, and pretty much. And again, I come from the Will Jones, Doc Robinson, and Ed Myers. You know, Gene, they late out, they night owls. They up. So I mean, when Will was living, when Doc was living, and Eddie's not in good health now, but I mean, we would call me like Dirk Wittenberg. We all, it's still the same thing. Ain't nothing changed. I mean,
I just want you to pass on my regards to Coach Myers.
I would do that because
I was with a cat from New York that actually knew Coach Myers, and we called him on the phone. So I actually talked to him maybe 6 months, 9 months ago.
Right.
But Coach Myers told me a story when he got to Georgetown. And he said to me, he says, "You have no idea how much you owe me." I'm like,
he told me that. Go ahead. He told me to go ahead.
"What are you talking about, Coach?" I'm like, he's like, I think it was junior high school. It was junior high school or high school. He goes, I was on the committee to select the players. And
right.
somebody couldn't play.
Yep.
And he said, "I lobbied for you for hours because everybody else thought you were sorry." And I lobbied for you, and look at you now in Georgetown. So he said, "I want all the credit."
He told me that story. Yes, he did. He told me that story.
So please give him my love, man. And
I will.
my regard.
My man. Sure. I will.
Van, when you give him the regards, tell him I appreciate him lobbying, because without that lobbying, I probably wouldn't know Gene.
Right.
But those other people were right. He is kind of sorry. We talking about a guy who, if he's in his proper mindset and he's on if it's a 3-on-1 break, or even better yet, if it's a 1-on-none, if it's a 1-on-none break, he should pull the ball out and look for Reggie Williams.
Hey, Van, and I would too. I would.
Hey, listen, Eddie was asking me. He's like, "Hey, man," we was talking, and some of my guys asked me who was the baddest guys from New York that I watched, and I said, "You know what, man?" I've never been a starstruck. Like you just said, me being introverted, being quiet. I said, "Look, hell, Kobe Bryant stayed with me at the NBA camp because that was his first time being in the States." So he pretty much, I mean, I hung around. I mean, Kobe hung around with me, Tim Thomas, Coleon Young, all them dudes. So I knew all them dudes. So I was never starstruck, but I was starstruck with Pearl Washington. When I saw Pearl Washington, I had to go to Nike sent me to a event in New York to scout. And he was there, and I'm like, "Look, man, I normally don't do this, but I got to get a picture of you, me and you." He said, "Man, he was so cool." And I was like, "Man," and he says, "You from DC?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I was mad, man, because you made Georgetown look bad. He had him cleaning the floor in that championship game with the behind the back dribbles, and you grinning." I'm like, "Man, what the hell is he doing grinning? This is Georgetown. You don't grin at Georgetown." And he bust all that. He said, "Man, I love playing them guys." He said, "They got the best out of me." And that was his testament to you all, what y'all did, Gene, at Georgetown. He was like, "For them, they got my A game. I could be dying of flu. I'm gonna play that game." And just hear him talk.
Mark, he's trying to clean it up, Mark. He know I'm over here, but I'm twitching. He trying to clean it up, Mark.
Hey, I was just gonna ask you if when you met him, did he still have Gene's shoes from when he shook him out of them?
See, I wasn't gonna go there. I was not gonna go there.
And I'll be honest with you, I did not realize that he got Gene like that, because when they play the highlights every year, they show him getting Michael Jackson. I always thought Michael Jackson. He got Michael Jackson bad, and they always play that. And then I was talking to Dennis Scott, and we were arguing about it. He said, "I tell you what, if you don't think Pearl got Gene, you ask Gene." Gene will tell you.
Yes.
I guarantee you he remembered.
Yes.
So
No
I
doubt.
never knew we got him before I talked to Dennis.
Yes.
So we're gonna wind the show down now. Van, it was. I know you got a championship game. It was real love to have you.
Hey,
I didn't want to bring
Van,
that up.
Van,
I'm sorry.
Van, before we let you out of here, because we coming up and we know coming up on a little time. We know you got business to do. Gene hates
good.
this.
I said, no, game started at 3 o'clock. We good. Take your time.
Gene hates this. I always do it. I usually do it with our guests and ask them what their all-time Georgetown team is, because we usually have players on or someone affiliated with Georgetown. But since you do the Kenner League, I want to know.
But Van, it'd be one thing if he asked for your starting five. He want all 12 players. Come on,
all 12 players? Oh, come on.
No, no, man. I make it easy for you. All I want is 1 through 5.
Man, all-time Georgetown 5?
No. All-time Kenner League. I want a point guard, a shooting guard, a 3, a 4, and a 5.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. Okay. My 5, I would say Patrick Ewing, because I was at the first game when they had it here. I would say Patrick Ewing. 4, man. I'm gonna give it to Alonzo. Alonzo, my 4.
Bradley.
Oh no, Bradley. No, that Bradley. Yeah, we got to see how Bradley play through the season. We're gonna have to see how Bradley play through the season.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna do this to you. Zoe was my roommate. I can tell you, he was not playing 4 in the Kenner League.
I know he wasn't playing 4. I know
he was not playing 4. I'm not giving you Zoe at 4.
So who you want to? Let me see, boy. Reggie Williams, of course, could be the 3. Reggie Williams.
But these don't have to be all Georgetown guys. I'm just saying.
Okay, cool.
I'm saying everybody that's been in the Kenner League since you've been running it. Give me your.
All right,
give
cool.
me your.
Okay, I got you. I'm gonna start at point guard. I'm gonna say Allen Iverson. I want to say Gilbert Arenas, but Gilbert did come in and take names. But I'm gonna say Allen Iverson because he started all this madness. Allen Iverson, shooting guard, man, there's a lot of shooting guards. You know what? From when I run, since I run it, I would say, boy, I'm gonna say Victor Oladipo because he showed me he could be a shooting guard. 3 man, Kevin Durant, power forward. Man, don't nobody play power forward down here. But see here. Yeah, I don't know if I'm
you got a stretch 4?
Stretch 4. Man, that's a good one. But
these big dudes trying to shoot 3s all day now. I know you can
exactly
put one out of half with that.
Stretch floor. I would say I would go just because Alonzo could shoot 3s. He could shoot 15-foot elbow jump shots. Alonzo did that.
Alonzo, let me repeat. Alonzo did not play 4 in the Kenner League.
Hey, Van, you see why I don't like this? You see why I don't like this?
Boy, that's a good one there. I mean, yeah, that's for a 5, for a 4. I don't know, man. I can't think of a 4. I'm trying to think of a.
I'm putting Bradley in there.
I would let you put Kevin at the 4, and you come up with another 3 if you want.
I tell you what, I pick Kevin at the 4, and what about Reggie Williams at the 3? Reggie Williams.
Done. I am never ever turning down Reggie Williams on any team.
Any team.
Any team.
This dude is.
Russ. See, I go back to Russ. I mean, he was called Russ. They called him Russ Williams in Baltimore.
Yeah.
I go back to Russ. So yeah, he could play. He was silky smooth.
If you in the Reggie orbit, he's Russ.
He Russ. Yeah, he Russ. Yeah, he was. I mean, he was. Yeah, 1983. Yeah, I was in the 10th grade. Yeah. He was Russ, and I'm like, boy, he can play. But from B-more can play. They can really play. So but I again, thank you guys for letting me on.
Little quick Reggie Williams story for you.
Go ahead, let's go.
You know he went to Dunbar.
Yes.
And so I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and I've been known.
Y'all got some players too now. Y'all got some players too in Tennessee.
Thank you. This is where I'm going. Yes, indeed. We
Don't
got
embellish him on the Memphis. He does it on every episode. Don't embellish him.
we got ballers. Memphis is the one city in the South where football is not king. It's all about basketball.
Without a doubt.
So
I totally
me
agree.
and Reggie talking, and I've been known to talk a little shit every once in a while.
I got you.
And I said, Reggie, come on, man. Like, are we really gonna have the Baltimore, Memphis conversation about hoopers? Like, dude, on my junior high team, we had 5 guys go D1. And Reg, he's quiet. Reggie is, he do a whole lot of talk. He said, man, Markham, man, that's nice, man. That's 5. Y'all had 5 guys go D1 off your junior high team. Damn, that's cool. We had 5 guys go pro off my high school team. Shut it down.
One pro he was a 6th man. Reggie Lewis didn't start. Reggie Lewis was a 6th man on that team.
Wow.
He didn't even start. He was a 6th man on that team. Reggie Lewis, and God rest his soul, he was a 6th man on that Dunbar team. They were, and just a Jim, I'm gonna tell y'all both a story. Like Coach Miles, Eddie Big, John Thompson Jr., Big John, to take Muggsy. And the Street Boys was gonna pay Muggsy's tuition, and Big John didn't want it. Can you picture Muggsy being at that point of y'all press? Can you picture that? That was a murderous rope.
Muggsy was 80, what? 80?
Yes, he was, because Wingate, yes, he was, yeah.
So he's Wingate, so he was 80. He would have been, I wouldn't have got no burn. I got no burn.
He would have been putting Gene on the pine.
I'd have been, hey, Mark,
Gene would have been with David Green.
I'd have been the manager. I'd have been the manager of the year 3 years in a row.
No, you would have played. Because when y'all played, y'all was the first 40 minutes of hell. Gene, you would have played.
All I know is I have a Muggsy story.
That's amazing. That's like
that's the first time I heard
the episode worth it. Like,
Coach Miles told me that. He said he begged Coach Thompson. He said, "No, I don't want that. I don't want that." He was like, he said, man, the Street Boys will pay the tuition.
Hey, Markham. The only saving grace I had is that we have a chip. That's it. Other than that,
you're good. You're good, brother. You're good. You're good.
But I had the chance to play against Muggsy in the Urban Coalition.
Right.
Van, I've never seen fans into watching him and I play defense against each other. Markham, I picked Muggsy up baseline to baseline like he was picking me up.
Yep.
Wow.
It was unreal. That was defense.
We got to get him on. I want to hear more about that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a phone call or two, see if I can get Muggsy Bogues to come on here. I need to get into this story. Inquiring minds want to know.
Now, that story came from Coach Miles. He told me that. I'm like, wow. I said, would that have been that team? That has been 40 minutes of hell. Been hell for any opponent, any opposing guards, pretty much.
All I can tell you, Van, is your reputation precedes you, man, and we're really thankful for your time. We're really thankful for your service. Like you put in the work for over 2 decades. And you mean a lot to us in the DMV, man. We just want to thank you.
I appreciate that. I mean, a lot coming from you guys. I mean that. I appreciate that, for sure.
So we're wrapping this up, and I want to, you mentioned you went to Roosevelt?
Yes, sir. Theodore Roosevelt. Mike Hancock. Roosevelt. Yes. Yep.
Is that a different Roosevelt than the one John Turner went to? That's Eleanor Roosevelt, right?
Eleanor Roosevelt's in Greenbelt. Theodore Roosevelt is uptown on 14th Street. That's Theodore Roosevelt. The Rough Riders.
Got it.
You know.
In the high, baby. In the high.
In the high. Yep. In the high. That's right.
Nice. I was thinking it was the John Turner Roosevelt. It was the Mike Hancock.
No, Mike Hancock is. I want to say it's Patrick Ewing. One of Patrick Ewing's good friends.
But Mike Hancock went to Roosevelt, you're saying?
Yeah, Theodore Roosevelt. Yep, Theodore Roosevelt. Yep.
Nice. Well, I usually close the show out with a quote, and this is you know, Theodore Roosevelt was president, but we all know that the women run the show. So I got a Eleanor Roosevelt quote for us.
Oh goodness. Let's have it. Let's have it.
You must do the thing you think you cannot do. Eleanor Roosevelt. You must do the thing you think you cannot do. That's all I got for you today.
Well, I'll take that. And Van, we got to make sure we connect.
Yes, call me. I'm you know what? I'm gonna email you my phone number so he can have it.
You hear that? He's gonna email me his phone number, Mark. I already sent him my number. He can text me his number. He don't want me to have the number, Mark. That's it.
Man,
he don't want me to have it.
Man, you sound like an intelligent individual to me. I'm just, you know, it's my first time interacting with you, but based on that, I'm gonna say you sound like a very intelligent individual.
No, man. You know what, Gene? I'm gonna text you right there. I'm gonna text you right there.
I look forward to
James.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Real talk, I'm gonna give you his number right now. I got it. It's 202-777-9311.
Fellas, thank you for your time on the Sunday. We appreciate you. Good luck in the championship game today, Van. We appreciate it,
baby.
All right, baby.
Thank you.
Later.
Talk to you soon, Markham.
All right, guys.